Ready to make waves? Dive into the world of dinghies and outboard motors and unlock a world of endless possibilities. Welcome to Dame Fluence exploration into all things sailing, because life is better at sea. We put together all the essential information about inflatable dinghies and outboard motors, professional and layman terms, what to expect when receiving them, where to stow them, how to use them correctly, how much they cost, and how to order them. As they go hand in hand, we'll be covering both dinghies and outboards. An outboard motor on its own won't be of much use on a sailboat, and a dinghy without a motor can get pretty exhausting from a week of paddling to and from the shore. A dinghy has many names: tender skiff, rubber dinghy, inflatable boat. There are plenty of terms for the dinghy you get with a chartered boat, but for our purposes, they all refer to the same thing. Dame Fluent tip: beware of the term dinghy, as it can also refer to all small vessels, i.e. even small sailboats such as the Optimist, Fireball, and small motorboats. In English, the term dinghy can also refer to a small racing sailboat like this. What is an outboard motor? In the charter business, an outboard motor is an additional motor. Not the motor on the yacht itself, but the use with the dinghy. The motor is smaller, and you will usually find it attached to the rail at the stern. What are dinghies for? While a dinghy is most commonly used by sailors as transport from a boat at anchor to the shore, it also has an equally crucial rescue function. Although not strictly considered a rescue or safety device, a dinghy can be a lifesaver if your boat sinks. While inflatable dinghies come with 2 paddles, paddling can be extremely strenuous, particularly if you have 2 or more people aboard. For this reason, boaters typically opt to order an additional motor. Dinghy capacity. The number of people that a dinghy can comfortably carry depends on the weight of the crew members. A group of children or women will require a different number of people compared to a group of men weighing 200 pounds. Typically, however, 3 to 5 people can fit comfortably on an inflatable dinghy. So you may want a large dinghy that can comfortably fit 6 people, or a small rubber dinghy that can barely hold 3. The best way to determine the right fit is to try it out on the spot. Ordering a dinghy and outboard, you can order your dinghy online and then the outboard that is the correct size for the dinghy that you just ordered. But buying sight unseen can lead to disappointment, as the ordered dinghy might not meet your needs. Best to shop in person to judge quality and capabilities to get the ideal fit for your needs. Also, deals can be had on the used market through such sites as Facebook Marketplace and Craigslist. The most common use of a rubber dinghy is for going ashore. You can moor your dinghy at a small pier. Where to keep the dinghy on the boat? Captains frequently face the challenge of determining where to store the rubber dinghy on the boat and ashore to ensure that it doesn't get in the way, isn't lost, and can be accessed quickly and easily when needed. Some boats come equipped with a special holder on the stern where the dinghy can be stored, allowing for easy access and a worry-free boating experience. If you're lucky enough to rent a boat with this feature, you can simply lower the dinghy to the surface with a pulley and set sail. However, the majority of charter boats do not have this system, and finding a suitable place to store the dinghy can be a challenge. It's worth noting that boats with dinghy holders on the stern often do not have a swimming platform at the stern, meaning you'll need to climb into the water using steps. It's a trade-off to consider. Another option for storing the inflatable dinghy is to attach it either under the boom at the entrance to the boat or on the bow. However, this method has its drawbacks, as it can obstruct the view or passage to the bow, and in high winds or when heeling, the dinghy can slip and shift in various ways. To avoid this, it's important to secure the dinghy properly with ropes, bottom up, and ensure that it doesn't fall into the water when the boat is heeling. It's surprising how many dinghies have been lost at sea due to improper storage, so it's important to take the necessary precautions. The last resort for storing the dinghy is to deflate it and stow it in a storage compartment. However, if you plan to go ashore frequently during your holiday, inflating the dinghy each time can be a hassle. The foot pump that comes with the dinghy can be quite challenging to use and may require a lot of effort. Dame Fluent tip: while sailors often remark that the best place for a dinghy is to leave it in the marina, it can also serve as a life-saving device, so it's not best to leave it behind. Often a dinghy is put on the bow. Where to keep the dinghy when you go ashore? Once boaters come ashore, They usually leave the dinghy on the beach where they disembark, transfer it to the pier, or tie it to a bollard on the shore. Wherever you choose to leave it, make sure it won't float away or get in the way. It's also important not to forget to bring the kill switch or a safety lanyard, a small safety device that is essential for the engine to run. Where's the outboard motor? The outboard engine is always removed from the boat when the dinghy is not in use. On sailboats, it is attached to the rail at the stern, where there is a plate adapted for this purpose. Never place the engine in the saloon or a storage compartment, as gasoline could leak out. The motor is so firmly attached a seagull can sit on it. Check out more tips for sailors. What can go wrong with an outboard motor and dinghy? What do we recommend checking and the do's and don'ts in relation to the dinghy and outboard motor? Check in. Shallows. The draft of a dinghy and outboard is significantly less than that of a yacht, but it is still possible to get stuck on the seabed. This often happens when returning from a restaurant to the boat in the evening, when a sailor may hit a rock or other obstacle. Since a rubber dinghy does not have a depth gauge, it is necessary to visually inspect the water ahead and below the boat. Fluent tip: in popular sailing spots like Bahamas, dinghies can easily run onto rocks just below the surface that may not be visible in the evening. To avoid this, we recommend having one of the passengers shine a headlamp in front of the boat to help navigate safely. Pulling the dinghy behind the boat. Towing a dinghy behind a boat is a common practice among sailors, but it is not recommended. Inflatable dinghies are not designed to withstand being towed at high speeds and can easily become damaged. The dinghy rope can also become tangled in the propeller or caught between two boats during harbor maneuvers. This adds another level of difficulty for the skipper to manage, especially in crowded marinas. At night in the bay, an unmarked dinghy can also pose a safety hazard for passing boats. While towing the dinghy behind your boat may seem convenient as you don't have to take it out of the water, it can actually become an obstacle when mooring at the harbor. Sunken motor. It may come as a surprise, but one of the most common accidents reported to insurance companies involves a sunk outboard motor. Typically, the motor is stored on the stern attached to a special plate during a boating holiday. However, when being handled, it can fall off the stern and into the water, and because it is quite heavy, there is usually not enough time to jump in and catch it. As a result, a large number of these motors end up lying on the seabed. So when moving the motor from the sailboat and placing it on the dinghy, have at least one extra pair of hands. Handling the motor alone can result in an accident in an instant. Wet rear end. This advice may sound obvious to many experienced sailors, but we've learnt that it is best to repeat it. Before your crew gets on the dinghy to reach the restaurant, inform them that they are likely to get their trousers, shoes, or other items of clothing slightly wet. When riding the dinghy, water may splash, the sides may be wet, or water may get on the floor. By alerting the crew, you will avoid the inconvenience of complaining about soaked luxury boats or wet backs. A puncture is no joke. What to do if you find that you have a hole in your rubber dinghy? Some boats have a repair kit with patches or glue that you can use so you can repair it yourself. If you can't find the kit, or if you can't stop the leak, seek advice from the nearest marina or repair shop to assist. Now all that's left is to choose a sailboat. Don't forget the outboard motor. We hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe to help us continue.